And I just point out, if you look at the levels up there, it's almost a bit like a step pyramid, isn't it? Alright, this is the McKinley, is that right?
Who was governor?
The McKinley Memorial. And he was the US president that got assassinated. And he was a governor of Ohio. And if you look down there, from above, this whole complex looks like a sword. There's a statue of him down there. Go have a look at the front, hey? Oh, there's some big doors. Big copper doors. Unfortunately the light, it's about 5 o'clock, so the light's fading a bit. But there's the door. Go up. And these things are, gosh, I mean, we've all seen this before, right? It's a very ornate, looks like they're copper, and they would be 12 to 15 foot, at least double my height. And that's the view. And I've forgotten what city we're in. We're in the city in Ohio. I'm here to check out the eclipse. But you can see this thing from miles away, and it's definitely looking a bit old world. Like even these little vent things, they're copper. We've got some windows behind them. And it's spring here, but you know, higher it's a bit cold, so the trees are still a bit dormant. There's a few leaves coming out. But yeah, so it's just a big domed round building. Oh, and up there you see that almost snake scales, like there's a snake wrapping around it. Alright, symbolism of the McKinley National Memorial. And this picture here shows it from above, so it's a sword, and they say that's because he was president or commander-in-chief during the Spanish-American War, and that's the explanation why it looks like a sword. So make of that what you will. And here we have some construction photos apparently. Let's see what we can see. So, horse and cart. It's not really a construction photo. This is apparently, but I mean, who knows what they're building. This is a photo, an old photo after completion, when they're apparently digging the sword, the bit down there. This is when it was opened or consecrated or whatever they call it. Building the stairs. Another photo there, and I'm not sure exactly what that is. But it says built from 1905 to 1907, the McKinley National Memorial is the final resting place for President McKinley, his wife Ida, and their 2 young daughters. So I don't know why their daughters died young. 25th President of the United States. So there you go. The McKinley Memorial. Wow. I'm a bit close, so I can't get the whole thing in one shot, but There you go. Alright, that is the two sarcophagi for McKinley and his wife, Ida. And it says the center of the monument rests the double sarcophagi carved from dark green granite from Windsor, Vermont. It's carved from a single block but designed to appear as two in one. Rests on a base of black Berlin granite from Wisconsin lion heads carved into four corners of the base guard of the president. Oh, there's a skylight in the roof. Oh, okay, the interior lunette. On the opposite side of the exterior lunette is the interior lunette. It represents the power of the president, both in peace and war. The circular presidential seal sits in the center above a sword, obscuring the blade. They are stylized fasces. Interesting. Bound wooden rods on each side, symbolic of supreme power and authority. And they of course appear on the Lincoln Memorial as well. On the far right and left are cornucopia, which stand for the abundance of peace. That's the exterior lunette. And there's a statue as well. And it basically says, memorial dedicated to a great man of simple and dignified life. To be erected in a small city, not a metropolitan centre. The funds were not such to warrant a lavish display, even if they had been appropriate, which it was not. I mean, this is a fairly lavish, really. Yes. It's pretty big. It's got 25-foot copper doors on it, and a massive dome, and it's way up on a hill. Got the stairs down there. I think Rocky wants to run up these stairs. And then a big plaza down there that looks like the blade of a sword. So there you go. And I just point out, if you look at the levels up there, it's almost a bit like a step pyramid, isn't it? See all these steps going up there in the big steps in the grass. So who knows what's under there, because that definitely looks like an old world structure. It doesn't look like anything else around this area at all.
Yeah, it definitely looks built up.
Looks built up. So did they just build that on an old mound or an old pyramid? Who knows? Alright, now up there, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a sword on the outside. It's like a feathered or flaming sword on each side where it says that it's a tomb to McKinley, who died in 1901, the 45th president. So there's the back of the copper statue of McKinley, and it says this memorial was erected by the voluntary contributions of more than 1 million of the men and women and children of the United States and many others of foreign lands. And this was built when there was only 45 states in the US of A. There's the side view. You can see there's an eagle there, and we think that's the flag draped over it. It's not the back of his coat. And up on that chair you can see there's some interesting motifs which we see everywhere on old world buildings. Very interesting. Alright, so here we go up the stairs, and you'll see up there big domed monument which kind of looks like a battery, right? Like a D-sized battery. So this is William McKinley, the 25th President of the United States, elected March 4, 1897 until his assassination on September 14, 1901. And he did have 2 terms. And he led the nation to victory in the Spanish-American War and raised protective tariffs to promote American industry. So a little bit about him. It just says In the 100-Day War, the United States destroyed the Spanish fleet outside Santiago Harbor in Cuba, seized Manila in the Philippines, and occupied Puerto Rico. And this was basically what McKinley did. That was really what he was known for, was just winning the war and apparently raising tariffs. Yeah, again, he was assassinated while he was standing in a receiving line at the Buffalo Pan American Exposition. Interesting. In 1901. So there you go. 1901 is an interesting year. And a few other things I found out about Mr. McKinley, President McKinley, was that he actually had more than one memorial made to him. This is the construction of the McKinley Memorial in Niles, Ohio. So this is a different construction. So if we come down here, this is a whole different monument. So this is dated 18 August 1916. But in here, they're erecting. I'll show you some pictures of it a bit more later. But this is the construction photos. Very old world as well, and he's tied to the expositions. This is a different monument. McKinley Birthplace Memorial Building. Look at the size of this thing in Niles, Ohio. So that's two monuments he's got, and I found another one here, the McKinley Monument. Located, it's the tallest obelisk, 29 meters in Niagara Square, Buffalo, New York. It's located in front of the Buffalo City Hall. So he's also got this massive obelisk dedicated to him. So I find that interesting that, one president who died in 1901 happens to have these three very old world looking monuments to him. And of course, the memorial is there for McKinley in Buffalo because that is where he was assassinated by Leon Solgotz during the Pan American Exposition, Buffalo, New York. And I was looking for some photos and digging into the story of this memorial, trying to find out, what was here, right? What was said to be here? Was it a burial mound of some kind? Was it mentioned as a mound, or did they make the mound? And there's not much out there. Basically, what I found is that they got the land from the West Lawn Cemetery. And the West Lawn Cemetery actually interned McKinley's body in this vault. And this was described as being a holding vault, basically through the winter when the ground was frozen and they couldn't dig graves. But McKinley was here for 6 years, sitting in a coffin. This is another picture of it. This is a current day photo. And in 1907, they built the memorial. And by then, his wife had died and their two daughters. So they basically buried them all in the tomb or put their bodies in sarcophagi in the new mausoleum. Is that what it's called? This is just a bit about the receiving vault, and says that McKinley, the vault was used as a resting place for McKinley from September 9, 1901 until the memorial was completed in 1907. So 6 years. There he is. That's the man. This is another shot. This is 1943, but just to point out that there used to be a fountain down the middle where it, makes the sword blade, as you can see here, and that's no longer there. And also there's these two structures, doorway things that are no longer there as well. And you can see here the step shape that it does, even going out to the sides. It looks like it's some kind of mound or step pyramid or something. So I'm not sure what the story with these little gatehouse things is. This is the sarcophagi. As you can see, it looks like two separate coffins, I guess they are, but it's actually all cut from one piece of granite. So that's where McKinley and his wife are. And yeah, as far as construction photos, not a lot. There's this one where they're building the fountain, obviously. This is already completed. You see, they used to have a lot more trees and things growing on it, and it didn't look as pyramid-y. I mean, you can still see the edges there, but very vanilla sky as well, right? But yeah, so this is one construction photo. There's not many out there. Here's another one. As you can see, this doesn't show much at all. Like I said, slim pickings when you're looking for the construction photos. I found like 4 or 5. Another older photo with the fountain. This one is a construction photo, as you can see. I mean, obviously they've contoured the stairs to it, but yeah, it's interesting. I'd be interested to find what's under here. And that gatehouse doesn't seem to be here in this either. And they're building the dome on the mausoleum. So that's one construction photo. This is the type of tech they had, wood and pulleys and things. And here we have another construction photo. Looks like this guy's holding a plow for some strange reason. But as you can see, they're constructing the stairs, and we have this decidedly pyramidal shape on the mound, but that's all I've been able to find. So if you've got any more information on this, or any, especially any information of what was there before the memorial or any photos, yeah, leave links in the comments, leave comments down below. Thanks for spending some time with me. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
Remember, in the end, nobody wins unless everybody wins. Come on!